All right. Ready? I feel like we're not gonna have any personality in this because we're both so tired.
We'll do our best.
We'll do our best. All right.
And we can even talk about how we just got done mowing all of our property.
Hey,
Today, I'm here to talk about flags. Fun with flags.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Roots and Refuge Farm, where today we are celebrating something that is a very big deal to us.
To us, it is. Yeah, it's a big deal.
I mean, it's a big deal, I think. I think it's something to be celebrated.
I mean, yeah.
Well, today is not our anniversary, but you're going to see this on our anniversary.
Yes.
Which is this weekend.
The 4-year anniversary?
What do you think we're talking about right now?
I'm talking about our anniversary.
That's the next video.
Oh, that's the 4-year anniversary of us being on this farm, yeah. Get my videos mixed
Our
up.
marriage is going great. The communication, top notch.
We did a lot this morning.
Bless.
The sunburn on the
No. Okay, so Saturday, when you will see this video,
it will be our anniversary of our marriage.
Yes, it's our wedding anniversary. And then, or I guess I should say our marriage anniversary. We didn't have a wedding. But, and then the next day is actually the anniversary of us announcing our new farm. Which we're doing a video for that also. And Jeremiah was just a little mixed up.
I was sorry, I got a little distracted because one of the baby goats just got onto the other side of the fence.
Oh. Should we go handle that?
I'll send one of the boys out in a minute. Right, let's focus on the video.
Okay, I'm ready back in.
Sorry.
This weekend, we celebrate having been married for 14 years.
Uh-huh.
Which is a very big deal.
It is, so long as I've been married.
Yeah. That's only funny if you've never been married to anybody else before.
Oh, okay.
But it is a true statement. 14-year wedding anniversary.
Marriage
anniversary. I always say that.
We didn't have a wedding.
We did not have a wedding. We eloped.
Yes.
We got engaged. We'd been dating for about a year.
We had started the process of planning a wedding.
So we got engaged. I don't even remember what day we got engaged. At the beginning of April. We started really looking at planning a wedding. And we made it until the 26th of April. When we went to an accountant's office that was also a justice of the peace. And he gave us a discount, only charged us $20 for marrying us because he was almost an hour late.
Yeah. So we got married on discount.
Best
Clearance. It's your best friend.
Best $20 you ever spent. I didn't know it was your $20.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, best $20 we've spent.
Correct.
And yeah, I got married in red jeans.
And we jump-started our life.
And yeah, we were planning a wedding. I bought a really pretty dress. I actually ended up giving that to my cousin, and she got married in it, which is cool. I bought this like sample sale dress, got a good deal on it. We started looking, and we already had children. We'd been married previously. We had 3 young kids between us. Jackson, Asher, Malia were 3. Asher was 3 or 4?
I think it was 4.
He was 4. And then, so Jackson and Leah were like 5 and 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range.
Can I pause for a second? Hey, Ben. One of the baby goats somehow got on the other side with the boy goats and the cows. Can you go out there and rescue her, put her on the other side?
Why don't we do it before we leave? That rooster is being testy.
Okay, never mind. I'll do it before I leave.
I got it. That rooster's out there and he's being testy. He was coming at me earlier.
But he's on the right side. Ben's going to go on the left side.
Okay.
To get the goat. Okay, Ben. I'll be watching.
Are you wearing boots and jeans? We already had young children. We'd both been married previously. We both got married when we were 18 years old. And so it's crazy.
Honestly, we just kind of counted the cost of the wedding and was like, it really feels more responsible to invest that in our family rather than in a ceremony at the time.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we had already had kids, had responsibilities. It was getting complicated, and we weren't even sure how we were going to be able to afford it all.
So we spent $20 on a Tuesday. I've never regretted that.
No.
That was actually a really good decision.
No, it was definitely good.
Yeah, we went to our favorite restaurant afterwards to eat, and then we went and changed my name at the Social Security office.
The same day.
And went on base and like got my military ID.
Yeah.
So, like we just like went straight into life, really, which was really, I guess, fitting. That's so weird to think about. That was 14 years ago tomorrow. Would you have imagined then? I mean, even an inkling of like what our life would be like now?
No, I don't think either of us could have.
You know what I think of often though? A little story. You know when you first start dating somebody and you have like those first handful, not handful, the early conversations where you're like really getting to know somebody that you're very, very interested in. Well, I remember on one of our early conversations that we would talk on the phone for like hours and stay up super late talking and stuff like that and go on long drives.
I remember we used to go look at farmhouses.
We would go look at properties that had acres because it was such a dream for me.
That's when I learned that Jessica liked to break in places.
Not ones people lived in.
Oh no, yeah, no, the empty ones.
But even now, as like a much more like mature adult, I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that. But at the time, I would totally get into houses.
We did. We just no one lived there. Okay, we didn't really break in, like...
No, I never broke anything.
Like if the door was open or unlocked or something, we would go in and take a look on the inside of the house.
Yeah, but now as a property owner, I'm kind of like, no.
We were like 20-something. Like, it was fine.
Well, what's crazy is because we had kind of previous attempts, it felt like we had lived so much.
Well, I felt so mature, and then I'm just...
I was 24. When we got together.
Yeah, we were still babies.
Babies, yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, because our kids are turning 20 this year.
No, that's wild. I remember one of those long conversations asking you to tell me what your perfect Saturday would be. You described this whole day of like living on a farm property, having acreage, and like getting up and working together, and then like cooking really good food and playing basketball outside. Do you remember this at all? You do. I mean,
when I was dreaming in my 20s, I didn't realize that was also going to include like 6 hours of cutting grass.
It's not Saturday.
Milking cows in the rain. You know.
That was yesterday, not today.
Goats trying to kill themselves at every turn. Like, you don't really think about that stuff on the dreaming part.
No, but I do remember the fact that you like described kind of my dream life at that point.
Dad, you have to go put that toast back right.
Okay, I'll do it whenever I get done with this video, okay?
I think you should do it a little bit better because it's knocked over.
Okay.
And I think you should put some T-posts there.
Okay, sounds good. I'll take a look at it. Thank you.
That's how she got it together.
Yeah, I watched you fix it.
Just temporarily.
Okay, temporarily fixed it. We were talking about early conversations, and then we would like...
Oh, yeah.
My perfect Saturday.
Yeah, you really described like my dream life. That was... I don't know. I had all the hard eyes over that.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
People will say to me sometimes, like, you're so lucky that your husband is like into homesteading. And I'm like, oh no, that was a prerequisite.
Yeah, that's true.
That I really desperately wanted this. No, you didn't really get into it until we'd been married for some years.
That is true.
But you were willing to do a certain degree because you wanted to do what made me happy.
That's right. I mean, everything goes for a process.
I was thinking about like what questions I was going to ask you for this video. Or what like conversation topics we could even touch on. And it's weird because at this point, you know, we have been together for 15 years, been married for 14 years. You are 40. I'm turning 40 this year. And that's a significant portion of our lives.
Yes.
I mean, that's a pretty big bit of it. And considering how we were pretty young getting together, like, I have spent the majority of my adult life with you.
That is right, correct.
And so it's so weird for me, like, how have you grown in our marriage? I could ask you all these questions, but it's so hard because if I were to compare, like, us to the us that got married, we're so vastly different.
That is true.
But it's partially because of each other, but it's also we just grew up. Do you think?
I mean, part of it's just like learning and growing, but I mean, other than that, like we have a tenacity for personal healing and growth.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've never really been complacent on like, well, we've gotten to a really good place. Let's just hang out here now. Granted, sometimes I'm begging, please, can we just hang out in this area for a little bit? The last season of growth was mucho intense.
It has been intense, but it's been good.
But it's all good.
Yeah.
It's very good. But then honestly, there's times that I'm like, you know, we can do better. We can go closer. We can go deeper.
It is honeysuckle. That is.
How do you eat it?
You pull the end
middle
off,
out.
like you pinch the end.
And suck it.
Oh, this one might have already got. Okay, so there's a thing called a stamen that sticks out, and usually when you grab this end, it pulls it through. But this one, you must have plucked the flower off.
And left the part.
So you have to pull the whole thing from the stem. Don't just pluck the flower off. Because usually if there's the little cap on the end of the stem, you pinch it and pull, and the stamen that sticks through the middle comes through, and it's got that little drop of nectar on the end. You'll remember whenever you do it. You've done it multiple times before. Okay. Okay, well, let us finish our video, okay? Fruit of our marriage.
Yes, that is right. 15 years.
What questions can I ask?
I mean, well, here's the thing, though, is that it's probably difficult for us to ask each other questions because
We know the answers.
yes, and we've been a part of it all. So, you know,
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time together, working together, doing things
Okay, so
together,
that's a
raising
good
kids
question.
together.
So what has been the challenge of our marriage for you? What has been like a challenge that we've overcome? Be like, what has been a challenge that we overcame with it and it was rewarding or something like that? You know, that's a
Yeah,
good thing to talk about.
that's a good thing to
That's
talk
like real talk.
Communication,
Yeah.
empathy.
That was your challenge.
Yes.
Yeah. Mine was to maybe like tone it down a little bit, stop feeling everything at an
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, yours was to less empathy.
Simmer. It's not less. It's still there. It's just not
Oh,
always.
it's just not a rolling boil.
Yeah, it's just like simmer.
It's like simmering.
Yeah.
Yes. Jessica learned how to simmer,
Yeah.
and I learned how to turn the heat on at all.
Yeah. You didn't feel a whole lot.
No, I didn't feel a whole lot, and that's been a process. But
Yeah.
it has been rewarding, which, I mean, that has
Would you attribute that to our marriage?
definitely.
It really is incredible how marriage gives you a partner in growth. Like,
It can.
yeah, I mean, it can. I guess for a while, you probably thought that, but once you kind of...
Well, like I said, everything's process. Everything's process. Like, we didn't really even know what we were getting into. Like, I mean, honestly, like, we were just like, we went and got married for $20 and moved in together. And then we started learning. Like,
I remember
very quickly.
I remember when we were dating, being in church, and the pastor saying that it takes 7 years to blend a family.
And we were like, bull crap, we got this. Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah, and I
remember at 7 years, we kind of like
realized
referenced
that
that.
that really that a lot of the seams had smoothed out at that point. There have been a lot of challenges that were rewarding to overcome. For me, I think being married to you has... I can get emotional in this.
Well, turning the heat up. It's starting to
Feel it.
coming to just a small boil.
You feel it.
Okay.
Golly. Hold on. I was so fearful when you and I met. I mean, just like, I was afraid of everything. I was constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop.
A lot more
And
anxiety.
So much anxiety. And also I didn't know how to simmer. Like, I didn't know how to be at peace or at rest at all. And I think interestingly, I'm pretty sure I talked about this briefly the last time we sat down and did an anniversary marriage chat, which has been some years ago. But, like, I didn't know how to be at peace. And I would, like, pick a fight.
Just to feel something.
Because, like, for me, I was so intensely passionate about so many things that like anything slowing down and being potentially boring just scared the crud out of me. Like I felt like things were going to fall apart if they got to that point.
Yes, I would say that would be an accurate assessment.
And I feel like I have very thoroughly healed from that.
Yes.
Like
I said, I think that we were put together on intentionally to refine each other. Because, like, I was perfectly fine with chill, slow, not a lot of passion and intensity. But it was because I was so shut down. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it really challenged you and brought out all of that to deal with. And then your intensity challenged me to figure out, you know, where my emotions were and why I didn't have them. And, you know, without our relationship, I mean, this is as cheesy as it can get, but, like, I actually really would not be who I am.
Yeah, me either. Well, you know, for a long time we would say, like, oh, Jeremiah's a frying pan and I'm a crock... No, other ways. I'm a frying pan, you're a crock pot. Or I was a kite and you were an anchor. And, like, all of these analogies. But I think that really the goal is to just be two whole people that are walking together.
Sure.
You know, like, and whereas there are these...
Still different, but...
I mean, yeah, we're definitely different, but being leveled out means that I'm not a kite. You know, like, and you're not just an anchor that never moves. You are a very anchored person, and I am definitely a dreamer. I don't feel like at this point I am dependent on you to keep me grounded. I mean, I find a lot of grounding in you. And I think that you still find a lot of, like, motivation and inspiration in me. But it's, I don't know, it's like we've really, I think, in a lot of ways, walked each other through healing.
Yes.
And I think that for me, you being very steadfast, because I can say that throughout our marriage, that would be the thing that I would attribute to the most, is steadfastness. And sometimes it pissed me off because, frankly, I wanted you to just move. Like, I wanted, you know, like, I was dying of fear, honestly, of being left behind or being, I don't know, missing out. I don't know what it was. Or just fear of things falling apart. But even in, you know, maybe the overflow of your steadfastness being that you are at certain times immovable because you are numb and kind of, you know, I know you dealt with a lot of disconnection. But you have been steadfast. That's true. That has created for me a refuge of sorts that I could actually learn to just be okay.
I think it provided enough security to provide the space to start healing.
Yeah, I think that's true. It really is crazy though, because, and I mean, I'm sharing this with the wider world because I'll be completely frank, and I imagine you've been in the same place.
It's nice to meet you, Frank. Which is, interestingly enough, your maiden name.
My mother's maiden name is Frank. Yes.
I'm just saying. I love it when people are like, I'm going to be honest. I'm like, no, please. Continue to lie to me.
Now I lost my train of thought, sir.
We're talking about Frank?
No, before that. You know my attention's not good. Oh, marriage, hard.
And then I anchored her back into her thought.
I have genuinely had times of being married to you that I have been like, God, I think you messed up. I think that marriage is a terrible idea, and I don't know what you were thinking.
I mean, if I'm being frank.
Yeah, Frank.
I'll be frank this time.
Frank says the real stuff.
I've had similar thoughts. Yeah. Whenever you're pushing me to be like, well, why do you feel this way? And I was like, I don't want to feel. Why are you in here saying these things to me? What have I done?
Frank. That guy. I mean, I really did.
That's true.
I really did multiple times think, like, this sucks. This is a terrible idea.
Yes.
But when you get through the hard and you have a partner that their security, their inspiration, their strengths kind of come in and shore up your own weak places. I guess what I'm saying is I've gotten to the point now that I'm like, this is a great idea.
Oh, yeah. We're there.
Yeah. I mean, like, man, We say this regularly.
Even on our hardest days, it's still...
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean...
What is it that made me send me a lot? That it's like... We just had a fight, but like, can you stop? Because like, you're my best friend. Like, you're the only person I have to talk to. So can we just make up already?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that has not come, when I say like, oh, this is a good idea now, that has not come by avoiding conflict. It has come by going through it.
Absolutely. And this is not just for marriage.
That's all relationships. Well, what do you think, like, for a person who's watching this, has been married for 2 or 3 years, and they're dealing with the thick of connecting with another person? That's the thing. Marriage is, like, such a thing. If you're going to be in a long-term committed relationship with another person, I mean, it doesn't get to just be all about you anymore. So, like...
I mean, honestly, what came to mind was what I kind of had revelation-wise in my quiet time this morning, which was...
we didn't talk about it. We just started mowing.
We did talk about it. In the room, right? You asked me about this morning.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was very impactful to me. I think it was obvious to Jessica, which might be why she didn't remember. But it was about, I was reading my book that I've been going through, and it was talking about putting yourself in someone else's shoes. To me, this kind of just feels obvious, but it really did not click for me until I was reading through this chapter. But when it says that you put yourself in someone else's shoes, like, when I thought of that, I was thinking, like, Jessica's having this experience. So putting myself in her shoes would be putting myself in the way I would handle it in that position. And then I would try and tell her, here's how you get through it, or here's how you handle it. And that would just cause a bigger disconnection because she doesn't feel understood or heard, right? And it just clicked for me. It was like, no, put yourself in her shoes as her. Like how she's experiencing the situation, which then challenges you even further, because then now you have to like really go into like, what is she feeling, and then be empathetic enough and have enough space within yourself to be willing to feel that, and then experience it as if you are her or that person. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like, and I've always just approached like, oh, walk a mile in my shoes, and I'm like, oh, I can walk a mile in anybody's shoes. I'm great at solving problems. Like, and I'm tough as hell. Like, so this has never been a problem. Right? But then when it's like, put yourself as if how they're experiencing it, I'm like, oh, that sucks. I do not want to do that. I do not like how you feel. I don't like simmering. I want to be leftovers put in the fridge for later. It's cold.
In a compartment.
Yeah, in a compartment.
One of the ones that seals real good.
Yes. Pyrex and glass. Nice. Like, the smell can't get out, and the funk is just stuck in there. I don't like leftovers from Thanksgiving, and it's July.
Now.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I've handled it. But I'll tell you what. I'm really good at compartmentalizing emotions. So I had to do it because of my childhood. But then I got really good at it because then the Marine Corps taught me how to like really compartmentalize. Like, never bring it to the surface ever again. Like, throw it in a dark hole. So that's really been my challenge, is like allowing myself to feel things, like even like allowing myself to like, because I used to not even think like, what would I feel? What do I feel? What do I think? What do I need? Like, and and I mean at all, it never used to occur to me to have those thoughts or think that stuff. And so learning to not compartmentalize and just lock stuff away, and then, like I said, engage that empathy to understand what someone else is going through, has probably been my biggest challenge in the last 18 months.
You want to know what I was thinking about in my quiet time this morning?
Popsicles. Ice cream.
I didn't say guess. I said, do you want to know?
Oh, you're right. I just wanted to guess something. Right, go ahead.
Are you thinking about popsicles and ice cream?
All the time. It's like, what would go best with this moment right now? Popsicle. Sorry, I'm not trying to distract you from your train of thought. Focus in, girl.
This morning, I was thinking about our anniversary. I was thinking about how, I mean, our whole marriage, there has been, I mean, we have gone through so much stuff. We've gone through multiple, like, pretty traumatic situations. We spent a long time.
Honestly, going through divorces was
rough. Having both been divorced. I mean, we came in with a lot of baggage. We came in with trauma. We came in with a lot of pressure. and we had a lot of kids. We went through a long period of being really financially strapped, which there's a lot of pressure in that. And then, we stepped onto kind of the public view, which has in some ways alleviated a lot of pressures, like in stepping into YouTube.
But it's created others.
Right. I mean, and truly I do believe that all the things that we have been through have been the orchestration of the Lord for our good. I mean, I genuinely do believe all things do work together for our good. And it's incredible to really look at even the things that felt like a ton of pressure brought about growth and healing in us, and ultimately taught us trust and taught us dependence on God and all those things. But I was thinking about how love is reflected in a person. And I was actually thinking about the fruit of the Spirit being, the fruit of the Spirit, peace, joy, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. Is that all of them? Am I missing one? Obviously, it's talking about the fruit of the Holy Spirit, but God is love. And so I was thinking about the fact that when a person is well loved, they ultimately also really, those fruits are evident in a loving relationship. I was thinking about how everything blooms under love. I was thinking about how in a marriage, whenever you have deep and lasting love, it brings about all this good fruit in your life. I was thinking about even just our farm. We are tired because we spent literally all day mowing. But look how great it looks. And whenever you look out and you see the fruit of your care and your stewardship and ultimately your love for a thing, it blooms and it thrives under love. And I was just thinking about how when we're in that kind of relationship with the Lord, we also bloom. And I think that that's just such an incredible tool to share the love of God with other people, is to walk in it and truly be well loved. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
To just bloom in it. You don't even have to say it. It just is. And I don't know, we've gone through a lot. We have gone through a lot of things, a lot of traumatic things, a lot of hard things, and tons of pressure. But when I think about what it produced, and I think about the fruit of now and being in peace and joy and patience and just all of the fruit that are gentleness, all the things that are so evident now. Man, I'm so thankful that love was there, because love is so fierce. It just doesn't settle. When you talk about we've always been really tenacious for growth. I mean, honestly, I think it's just that love has always been so present.
Yeah.
And love doesn't settle. It doesn't say, oh, it's fine, there's dysfunction here, but it's fine. We're fine with dysfunction. It says, let's just keep confronting it. Let's just keep moving forward. Let's just keep going into a deeper level of what love can be.
And sometimes it just says, we're just going to lay here and watch a show.
That is true. Sometimes it does say that. But I think that's maybe sometimes the peace thing. It doesn't have to be tumultuous. That right. It can be at a simmer and still be passionate.
Yeah.
It can be ordinary and everyday and still be romantic. I mean, that's been kind of one of the biggest things for me, because I am such a hopeless romantic. I am such a idea person, and I'm a poet in my mind all the time. And that mixed with the restlessness that I used to live in, I didn't know how to really appreciate how romantic everyday things can be.
Right.
Well, 14 years.
Best 14 years of your life. And mine.
What's next?
Probably 14 more years, and then we'll do another video. We'll probably do another video before then.
If you could go back to that 25-year-old kid that was thinking, I'm going to marry this girl that wants a farm, what would you tell him?
I mean, honestly, the things I would tell him first, I wouldn't be able to include in this video. I would give him all the pointers.
Stop! Rein it in, we don't have time.
I'd probably help him unlock his emotions and his empathy earlier on. Save a lot of years of dysfunction and all that.
Yeah.
Because it would have helped with you and with our kids. I'll ask you the same question. If you could go back to young Jessica, what would be your advice to her then? What would you say?
I mean, honestly, I think I'd just tell her she was going to be okay.
That's really good.
I mean, more than okay, like...
Thriving?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that, like, you take your younger self to a coffee house post that you made.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, I feel... When I look back, you know, just pondering a lot the last few days, thinking about when we went and got married, and I just think about my early 20s and that whole season of my life. Like, I just feel so much compassion.
For that person? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to feel compassion for yourself sometimes. Because, I mean, we are usually the hardest on ourselves.
For sure.
But she was a great gal. But I like the gal that I'm married to now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a keeper.
We've come a long way. Well,
Phil, it's been a pleasure.
being married to you.
Thank you. My homie. Alright guys, well.
Thanks for hanging out with us today.
On our anniversary.
Well.
Day after anniversary? No, it's not our anniversary.
They will be. But it's not our anniversary today.
Yeah, but I'm speaking to them in the future.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us on our anniversary today that you're watching this. It's confusing. We bless you guys. Until next time.